Hi, this is a demo of the Iterate Canvas export. It actually exports to Canvas or Quartz or GDI or Drawable, whatever, any sort of vector drawing format. So it's basically just a format that holds the vector data. And you can see we export here to Canvas, and then if we bring the browser in, now it's importing that data and drawing it like that. And of course, if we change this guy to be bigger and move him around or whatever and export that again, we bring the browser back in and refresh, and you can see that he's changed. The JSON format is pretty straightforward. It's actually regular JSON. I have all the strokes defined, then the fills, then the symbols, and then if you go down to the bottom you get the actual timelines and the instances on the timeline. The fills are actually you can see here JSON doesn't accept hexadecimal, which is aggravating, but these are actually color definitions for solid colors, and then these are gradient definitions. But we can change these at runtime. So you can see if I go to the index tool here, and I'll uncomment this just before it draws the root timeline, and now it says, it's creating a color that is CC green. This is ARGB, then creating a solid fill, and then adding the fill. So if I save that and go back to the browser, you can see now that ends up being on this fireman guy's face, and he turns green. We can actually look at the elements here as well, and you can see how it's exported. Basically, they're all divs, and then inside the div we actually have the canvas, and you can see how the canvas has the scale and the vector drawing in it, and then the rotate and translate and skew and that kind of stuff is actually done on the div itself. These can also be named. The colors can be named instances or symbols, like library symbols, so you have access to all of that at runtime. The other thing is the runtime here is actually programmed in hex or haxe, or however you want to say it. This is the binary version of the parser, and you can see here that it's actually loaded with XML HTTP request, which actually loads a binary file, and this binary file is compressed with what's called n-bit compression. It's basically takes a group of numbers and finds the minimum number of bits to store all those numbers, and then writes that number of bits and then writes all the numbers. But anyway, it loads it dynamically, asynchronously, and then once it's loaded it goes ahead and parses it, which is all this down here, and then that goes ahead and draws it. The actual binary files for this are quite small. The JSON file is here, and you can see it's it's this one. It's 11K, and then the actual data file is 3K. And of course, if you had a whole bunch of different symbols, and as long as you're reusing the vectors, it's not going to go much more than 3K. This will be available on iOS next. I have a big project coming up with Disney, and they're using, well, they will be using, hopefully, this system of vector drawing if it works out. So that'll be kind of the focus for the next few months. Will actually be on iOS for this Iterate tool. Okay, thanks for watching.